Human trafficking.
If you never heard the term before, I'm going to give you a very basic definition. It is a crime against humanity where people profit from the control and exploitation of others. When I talk about human trafficking, I get many different responses. The first thought that rocks up in people's mind is from the movie Taken, but it has a bigger meaning. Ought to concern every person because it's a degradation of our common humanity. It ought to concern every community because it tears at our social fabric. It ought to concern every business because it creates an imbalance in the market. It ought to concern every nation because it endangers public health and gives rise to organized crime. I'm talking about the injustice, the inhuman act, the outrage of human trafficking, which must be called by its true name, modern-day slavery.
Based on researches, we found two key reasons of human trafficking, which are unethical traffickers and uneducated victims. Therefore, we provide two recommendations in terms of traffickers and victims to governments. Firstly, in the area of traffickers, we suggest to aggravate punishments in legislation. According to the American State Department, there are about 0.6 to 0.8 million victims being trafficked every day, where we could witness a large demand for trafficking people. In order to shrink this demand, decreasing the number of traffickers through severe punishments is advised. In terms of people who have already been traffickers, it's much riskier to exploit human trafficking continuously under the pressure from both conscience and legislation. It's possible for them to quit or at least decline the times of trade. In terms of people who are potential traffickers, aggravated punishments could trigger their worries, which in turn scare them. Heavier punishments could be a deterrent to potential criminals. Hence, governments could create a global meeting to achieve a unified and heavy punishment policy. Through emphasizing and enhancing punishments, parts of traffickers could stop, whereas other stubborn traffickers might still trade people.
We have an additional suggestion, which is education. For addressing human trafficking completely, we suggest improving the educational structure of a country, as we see most of the people who are illiterate or uneducated are more susceptible for victimization. Education brings about enlightenment in people. It is a getaway from all the hardships in life. It is what that makes people aware about all the social evils present in the world today, human trafficking being one of them.
In addition, education plays a vital role in helping a trafficked survivor to get out of the trauma. Education and counseling are huge steps that can help in rehabilitating the survivors and reintegrating them into the society as he or she can get a chance to restart life. Therefore, we suggest governments to provide elementary education to the needy. For example, establishing an education fund and saving the world from this crime.
All stakeholders, such as governments, citizens, the traffickers, and the trafficked people, can benefit from these two recommendations. Legislation and punishment can be effective governance tools, which can help governments control the market more effectively. Since measures are taken to deal with the human trafficking, the negative effects will be reduced. Therefore, the society can become healthier and citizens will have a safer working and living environment. At the same time, being warned by the laws, the traffickers may realize the risk of trafficking people, then they will restrain their behaviors. This leads them to standardize their business and stop committing in human trafficking. The trafficked people or the potential victims will be guaranteed the most benefits from these recommendations. There are some protection legislations and financial supports offered to them.
Human trafficking is talked about in a victimizing way with victimizing language. But we need to learn to accept those who have been trafficked not as victims but as survivors. There is only one way we can bring about a change. We've got to change our language, change our attitude, and we've got to change our perspective on what it means to be involved in combating human trafficking. And most of all, we've got to speak about it. The bottom line is attack the roots and shelter the survivors. Thank you for watching the video.